Welcome po sa ating Mathematics Grade 9, Quarter 1, Week 2, Module 2, entitled Solving Quadratic Equations. So sa module po na ito, mga katropa, meron tayong 4 na lessons. Solving quadratic equations by extracting square roots, by factoring, by completing the square, and by using the quadratic formula. So yun pong 4 na pamamaraan para ma-solve ang ating quadratic equations. Our first lesson is solving quadratic equation by extracting square roots. So kailan po magagamit ang extracting square roots na method? Kapag ang form ng ating quadratic equation ay nakasulat as x squared equals r. So ang r po natin dito, class, ay may tatlong properties. Ang unang property, kapag si r ay greater than 0, ibig sabihin kapag ito ay positive real numbers. So pag positive real numbers, pag i-extract natin square root both sides, ang magiging resulta ay ganito: si x is equal to plus minus square root of r. Kapag si r ay positive, merong 2 real solutions or 2 real roots ang ating quadratic equation. That is because ang positive real number, pag in-extract natin ang square root niya, ang kanyang root ay positive at saka negative. Because positive times positive is positive. Negative times negative is also positive. Parehong number, pero 2 different signs, si positive tsaka si negative. Okay? Property number 2. Property number 2 naman ay kapag si r ay equal to 0. So, ang ibig sabihin yan, our quadratic equation has one real solution or one real root, which is 0. Kasi pag si r equals to 0, square root ni 0 ay 0 din. At ang pangatlo, kapag si r naman ay less than 0 or negative real number. When we extract the square root of r, wala namang real root ang isang negative real number. So, square root of a negative number, that is no real root. Kasi wala naman tayong real number na kapag i-square, ang resulta ay negative. Lagi po yang positive. Okay? So, let's proceed to activity under once more. So, let us solve the quadratic equation by extracting the square roots. Okay, let us solve number 1. X squared minus 100 equals 0. So, again, dapat it is of the form x squared equals r. So, si x squared given x squared minus 100 equals 0. So, anong gagawin natin para magiging x squared equals r form siya? So, si negative 100 dapat ma-transpose natin sa kabilang side. So, paano siya ma-transpose to the other side? So, we will apply addition property of equality. So, ibig sabihin, ano ang ina-add natin sa left side, yun din sa right side para ma-maintain ang equality ng ating equation. So, minus 100, to make it 0, we will add 100. And we will also add 100 on the other side. So, magiging, so negative 100 plus 100 is 0. So, that is x squared equals 100. Then, extract square root. So, extracting square roots on both sides. So, we have x. Then, square root of 100 is plus minus 10. Kasi positive 10 times positive 10 is equal to 100. And negative 10 times negative 10 is equal to 100 also. So, ito po yung magiging sagot natin for number 1. Number 2. That is x squared equals 121. So, in the form na siya ng x squared equals r. So, ang gagawin na lang natin sa kanya, extract square root on both sides. So, we have x equals positive, negative, 11. Kasi 11 times 11 is 121. So therefore, this is our answer. Positive, negative 11 po ang value ng ating x. Number 3, we have 2x squared equals 50. We have to express this form into x squared equals r. So, anong gagawin natin para matira si x squared sa side na to, sa left side? So, multiplication property of equality or division property of equality. Ano pong i-multiply natin sa left side or i-divide sa left side, siya ring gagawin natin sa kabilang side. So in this case, we will divide 2 para ang matira si x squared. So that is 2 divided by 2, that is 1. So ang natira na lang ay x squared equals 50 divided by 2, that is 25. So kikita natin na both sides are perfect square. So extract natin yung square root. Ang natira, si x na lang equals positive, negative 5. So that is the answer for number 3. X equals positive, negative 5. So there are 2 real roots. Alright, number 4. The given is x squared equals 1 over 16. So, anong gagawin po natin dito? So, naka-x squared equals r. Inform na po siya. Kaya lang, yung r natin ay fraction. So, same process pa rin po. Extract square root on both sides. So, we have x equals positive, negative. Square root of 1 is 1. Square root of 16 is 4. So 1/4 times 1/4 is 1 over 16. Negative 1/4 times negative 1/4 is positive 16. So ganyan lang po kasimple ang extracting square roots in solving quadratic equations. Okay, number 5. So, applying addition property of equality para mailipat si 54 sa kabila. So, quantity of x minus 2 squared minus 4 plus 4. That is 0 plus 4. So, magiging 0 yan. So, we have x minus 2 equals 4. Dahil ito ay isang quantity lang yan, kasi na-enclose siya sa parenthesis raised to 2, extract natin ang square root. So, ang labas, ang resulta po ay x minus 2 na lang equals positive, negative 2. Kasi positive 2 times positive 2 is 4, negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. So, will add 2 on both sides para si x na lang ang matira. So, dito, positive, negative 2. So, magiging, unahin natin si positive, that is 2 plus 2, which is 4. Yung isa naman ay si x equals negative 2 plus 2, which is 0. Yan. So, there are two values of our x. So, ang pagkasulat po natin dito, for number 5 natin, our answer is x equals 4 and x equals 0. Yan po ang final answer. Now, question class. What if ang r natin ay hindi perfect square? Say for example, if we have x squared equals 5. So, hindi perfect square si 5. I-extract natin square root, dito rin square root of 5. That's positive, negative. So, si 5 dito class ay hindi perfect square. So, ibig sabihin, wala tayong makikitang integer, whole number na root ni 5. So, ano yung magiging sagot po natin? So, hayaan na lang po natin yung radical sign. So, magiging final answer po natin dito. Pwede natin yung isulat x equals positive, negative, square root of 5. Or we can write that this way. X equals square root of 5 and x equals negative square root of 5. So again, dahil si r po natin ay positive, greater than 0, so we have two real roots. Positive square root of 5 at saka si negative square root of 5. So ito po yung steps ng pag-solve ng quadratic equations by factoring. So first number, we have x squared plus 6x equals 16. Step 1 ay express the equation to the standard form and equate the equation to 0. So, ang standard form po natin ay ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So, magiging x squared plus 6x minus 16 equals 0. So, again, pag inilipat po natin ang isang term or ang isang value sa kabila ng equation, we will change the sign kasi we will apply addition property of equality. So, minus 16 po tayo dito on both sides. So, kaya yan magiging negative 16 na siya. Paglipat niya sa kabilang side ng equality. So, this is now your standard form. So, from this, you will apply your knowledge on factoring polynomials. So, first is we will look for the common factors ng bawat term. May common factor ba? Okay, wala. So, we will proceed to the product of two binomials. Yung na-learn natin sa ating grade 8, the factoring general trinomials, di ba? So, x on both factors, may x kasi x squared po tayo. And then, anong gagawin natin? Si 16 hahanapan natin si 16 ng factor. Kapag ina-add natin ay magiging 6. So ano yun? 8 times 2. No? So pag negative, so isa sa kanila ay positive, isa ay negative. So clue natin dahil positive si middle term, yung bigger factor ang positive. Kasi positive ang sign ng ating middle term. So that is 8 and 2. So when we check that out, that's 8 times negative 2 is negative 16. 8 minus 2, that's positive 6. So to check, pwede nyo ring i-multiply ang dalawang binomial na to. Then the result would be this one. X squared plus 6x minus 16 equals 0, applying the FOIL method. So next step, dahil nakuha na natin ang binomial factor ng ating quadratic equation. So according to zero product property, when two real numbers is equal to 0, then either one of the real numbers is equal to 0 or both of them is equal to 0. Applying zero product property, we can say that x plus 8 is equal to 0 and x minus 2 is equal to 0. So your x is negative 8 and your other value of x is positive 2 because of the addition property of equality. No? Minus 8 tayo dito na side, minus 8 po dito na side, kaya mayroon tayong x equals to negative 8. Plus 2 tayo on both sides, so magiging positive 2. So ito po yung sagot natin, class. So this is our answer for number 1. So number 2 po tayo, class. If you check the given ng ating number 2, nakasulat na po sa standard form. But notice, class, na wala siyang term na may variable x or middle term ng ating ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So, previously, we learned na ang ganito pong form ng ating quadratic equation ay pwedeng masolve gamit ang extracting square root. But then, dahil ang lesson natin dito ay nasa lesson 2 na tayo, which is factoring, solving quadratic equations by factoring. So, kailangan nating ang ibang pamamaraan aside from extracting the square root. Pag ganito po ang given sa inyong lesson in grade 8, ay meron tayong tinatawag na difference of two square. That is of the form a squared minus b squared. Okay? So, ang given po na ito ay pasok sa ating form ng or pattern ng a squared minus b squared or the difference of two squares. So, pag ang given natin, pakita tayo ng ganitong forma, pag difference of two squares ang ating quadratic equation, then we can find the factor which is of this form. That is square root ng first term and then square root yung pangalawang term ng binomial ay square root ng second term. Ito si b squared, so b. Tapos minus and plus yung sign ng dalawang binomial natin. So, from this given, we can factor this out into two binomials. So, square root ni x squared is x minus and plus. Then we have square root ni 49, which is 7. Square root of 49 is 7. That's 7 times 7 equals 49. So, applying zero product property. So we equate the two factors to 0. Yan. Then x plus 7 is also equal to 0. So applying addition property of equality, so we can only have x in the left side, so we will add 7 on both sides. So this is now 7. So this is our first root, x equals to 7. The other one, minus 7 on both sides, so we have x equals negative 7. So this is now our answer for number 2. Okay, next. We have x squared plus 121 plus 22x. So express in standard form, then equate to 0. That is plus 121 equals 0. So by addition property, para mailipat dito sa kabila si 22x, so we will add negative minus 22x on both sides. So kaya yan, minus 22x dito, then 0 na sa kabilang side. So think of the factors of 121. Pinag-add natin ay negative 22. So pwedeng negative 11 times negative 11. So that magiging x minus 11 times x minus 11. Or x minus 11 square, diba? Equals 0. So therefore, square root magiging x minus 11 equals 0. So plus 11 on both sides, so magiging x equals 11. So this is our real root. There is only one real root for number 3, which is x equals 11. Proceed tayo sa number 4. Written in standard form na po siya, class. So check na lang natin kung meron bang common factor ang 3 terms. Yes or no? So yes, you can factor out 4 on all terms. Parang matira si x squared na lang, si 3x at saka si 4 o 0. So copy na lang si 4. So anong factor si negative 4 na pag in-add natin ay positive 3? So x na yan for first term. So negative 4, so pwedeng 4 and 1 kasi positive ang gitna, so si bigger number ang positive, pwedeng si plus 4 and then negative 1. Positive 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. 4 minus 1 is positive 3. So that's correct. So how to get rid with 4? So just divide 4 on both sides. So para matanggal si 4, kasi 4 divided 4 is 1 yan. So x plus 4, ito na lang ang matira. Okay, so x plus 4 times x minus 1 equals 0, kasi 0 over 4 is 0. So x plus 4 equals 0 and x minus 1 equals 0. So your x is negative 4 dito, plus 1 on both sides equals positive 1. So this is now your answer. X equals negative 4 and x equals to 1. There are two real roots for number 4. Okay, last number po tayo for lesson 2. Okay, number 5. Notice that the given is naka-standard form na po ang ating quadratic equation. First term, which is a perfect square. Second term is a perfect square. Then the sign between them is subtraction. So this is an example of difference of two squares. So pag meron tayong difference of two squares, again, if we have a squared minus b squared, its factor is a minus b times a plus b. So just take the square root of each term para magiging terms ng ating dalawang binomial. So from the given n squared minus 81, so we have two factors ng ating n squared minus 81 is a binomial. The factors of difference of two squares, so the square root of n squared is n, and then minus ito plus, then the square root ng 81, which is 9, so n plus 9 equal to 0. So therefore, we have now two factors, n minus 1 equal to 0, at ang isa naman ay n plus 9 equal to 0. So, applying addition property, dito we add 9 on both sides, so meron tayong n equals 9. Dito naman sa kabila, we subtract 9 on both sides, so n is equal to negative 9. So this is our answer. Two real roots, 9 and negative 9. Bilang review po ng paano mag-factor ng polynomials, ng lesson po ninyo sa grade 8, ay paki-click lang po ng link dito sa baba. Lalagay ko po ang link sa baba para sa lesson, ma-review po ninyo yung lesson ng ating grade 8 factoring polynomials. Third lesson po natin, class, ay solving quadratic equations by completing the square. So this is the third method that we will introduce in this module in finding the roots of quadratic equation. So diretso po tayo sa what's more. Number 1 natin is x squared minus 2x equals 7. So ang steps po natin in completing the square, class, ay we will see to it. First step is yung lahat ng may variable nasa left side ng equality. Tapos yung constant nasa right side. So, in our given, naka-arrange na siya na lahat ng may variable andun nasa left side ng equality. So, lahat ng variable nasa left side ng equality. And then the constant is on the right side. Next step po ay coefficient po ni x ay si negative 2. So, si negative 2 po, ang coefficient ni x, i-divide po natin yan ng 2. That is equal to negative 1. Tapos is square. Ang sagot po ay 1, positive 1. So, C1, so kung formulan po natin yan ay b over 2 tapos square. So, si B po ang coefficient ni x. Kasi ax squared plus bx plus c po tayo. So, result is 1. So, ito namang si 1 ang idadagdag natin sa both sides. Plus 1 and then 7 plus 1. So, ito po si 1. So, para ang resulta sa equation na to ay magiging perfect square trinomial. Ilalagay ko po ang review kung paano ang pag-factor ng ating perfect square trinomial. Nasa grade 8 po yan na lesson. Paki-click lang po ng link below para po kayo maka-review kung paano ang pag-factor ng ating perfect square trinomial. So in this form, dahil negative po ang ating middle term, so that is in the form of a minus b squared. So pag sinabing a minus b, our a is x, minus po tayo kasi sa middle term natin negative, and then the square root of our third term, which is 1. Square root of 1 is 1. Squared po tayo, that is equal to 8. So what's next? This is considered as one term, yung x minus 1 natin, kasi naka-enclose sa isang quantity. So naka-quantity siya, squared equals 8. So we can consider this in the form of x squared equals r. So ibig sabihin nun, we can extract the square roots on both sides. So we now have x minus 1 equals plus minus square root of 8. So can we still simplify 8? Square root of 8? Yes, we can factor 8 by 4 since 4 is a perfect square. So 4 times 2. So we now have plus minus square root of 4 is 2. So 2 times square root of 2. Okay? So adding 1 both sides, x na lang matira kasi negative 1 plus 1 is 0. Then dito naman si 1. So 1 plus minus 2 square root of 2. Okay, nakuha. So this is now our root of the equation. So kung gusto nating isulat ang dalawang roots, we can have our first root, or we can call that as x sub 1 as 1 plus 2 square root of 2. And our second root, we can name that as x sub 2, which is 1 minus 2 square root of 2. So that is our final answer. There are two real roots. Next, number 2, we have s squared plus 4s minus 60 equals 8. So, tandaan po natin, ang value po ng ating b ay 4. Okay, so hayaan lang natin si b equals to 4. So, first step, ilipat si constant sa right side. So, si s squared plus 4s na lang ang matitira kasi plus 60 tayo both sides. Then next, again si b over 2 squared, that is equal to 4 over 2 squared, that is 2 squared, which is 4. Add si 4 on both sides, plus 4s plus 4 equals 60 plus 4. So, magiging perfect square trinomial, then plus yung middle sign natin, so magiging S plus the square root of 4, square root po ng third term 2 squared is equal to 64. So we have S plus 2 squared equals 64. Extract the square root, so we have S plus 2 equals positive negative. Square root of 64 is 64, a perfect square. So S plus 2 is equal to plus minus 8. So 8 times 8 is 64. So we have two solutions here. We have S plus 2 equals 8 and S plus 2 equals negative 8. So sa kabila tayo, we have S equals 8 minus 2 both sides. So we have S equals 6. Ito, minus 2 both sides. So we have S negative 8 minus 2. So our S is negative 10. So there are two roots. S equals negative 10 and S equals 6. That is the two real roots of our quadratic equation for number 2. Number 3, m squared plus 10m plus 9 equals 0. First step, combine all with terms with the variable, and then sa kabilang side ng equality ang constant, so negative 9 minus 9 tayo both sides. So magiging ganito na po siya, m squared plus 10m equals negative 9. So what is next to this one? Divide that by 2 and then take the square. That is 5 squared, that is 25. Add 25 on both sides. Negative 9 plus 25 plus 25. Magiging, dahil perfect square trinomial na to, take square root lang ng first term at saka ni last term. Then the sign of the middle term is plus. Square root of 25 is 5 squared. Negative 9 plus 25, that is 16. So the square of m plus 5 is equal to 16. So the square of m plus 5 is equal to 16. So para mawala si exponent 2, extract square root both sides. We have m plus 5 equals positive negative 4. Therefore, m plus 5 is equal to 4, and the other one is m plus 5 is equal to negative 4. So m plus 5 minus 5 on both sides, 4 minus 5 is negative 1. Then here m minus 5 on both sides, that's negative 9. So m equals negative 1 and m equals to negative 9. There are two roots, number 3. Alright, so let's proceed to the last number 4 for this method, the third method, completing the square. 3w equals 3. So, nakakombine na lahat ng variable, then si constant na sa right. So, automatic coefficient ng W, i-divide by 2, and get the square. So, ang labas ay 9/4. Right? So, i-add daw natin on both sides. So, w squared plus 3w plus 9/4 equals 3 plus 9/4. Okay? So, ang magiging root po ni 9/4 is 3/2 plus sign. So, magiging w plus 3/2 squared is equal to, that is over 4, that is 12 plus 9, w plus 3/2 squared equal 21/4. So, when extract square root, para mawala po si exponent 2, we have w plus 3/2 equals square root of 21, square root of 21 pa rin, square root of 4 is 2. So, meron tayong dalawang roots, w plus 3/2 equals square root of 21/2. Kasi dalawa yan, plus minus. The other one is w plus 3/2 equals negative square root of 21/2. So when we deduct 3/2 both sides, so we have w na lang, and then minus 3/2 plus square root of 21/2. Magiging w equals negative 3 plus square root of 21 all over 2. So, w, ito namang kabila, w na lang, then negative 3/2 minus square root of 21/2. So, kung gusto nyo isulat in one term, all over 2, that is negative 3 minus square root of 21. So, these are the two values of the two real roots ng ating number 4. Alright, class? So that's it for completing the square. Last method. Solving quadratic equation, that is using the quadratic formula. Simple lang po ang gagawin natin dito. Tandaan nyo lang po ang quadratic formula. And then, ang gagawin nyo po ay, so substitute lang ang mga values ng A, B, and C. So, this is our quadratic formula. Okay. X equals to negative B plus minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. So, number 1, gagawin nyo lang ay i-determine ano ang values ni A, B at saka ni C. So, standard form tayo, magiging x squared plus 5x. Para mailipat si 14, minus 14 both sides. Negative 14, then magiging 0, 14 minus 14. So, we have the value of A which is equal to 1. Coefficient po ng x squared is 1. coefficient po ni x is b at si constant naman negative 14. So ang values ng a, b, c ay substitute lang sa ating quadratic formula. X equals negative b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So magiging negative b sa 5, then b squared 5 squared minus 4, 5 is a is 1, your c is negative 14 all over 2a. Okay, so we will continue. So our x is negative 5 plus minus po yan. Square root of 5 squared is 25. 4 times 14, 56. Magiging positive. Kasi minus negative 4 times negative 14. All over 2, your a is 1. Okay, so equals negative 5 plus minus 25 plus 56 is 81. Uy, perfect square si 81. So parang mas madali na lang ang buhay natin dito, class. Plus minus square root of 81 is 9 over 2. So therefore, ang isang x natin ay negative 5 plus 9 over 2. Ang isa naman ay x equals negative 5 minus 9 over 2. So, negative 5 plus 9, that is 4 over 2, which is equal to 2. Negative 5 minus 9, that is negative 14 over 2, which is negative 7. So therefore, x is equal to 2 and x is equal to negative 7. Ang sagot po ng ating number 1. So number 2 tayo, class. Our quadratic formula is x equal. So our b, number 2 is 5 plus minus square root of b squared is 5 squared, that is 25 minus 4. Your a is 1, your c is 4. All over 2 times 1, that's 2. So negative 5 plus minus square root of 25 minus 4 times 4 is 16 all over 2. So again, negative 5, 25 minus 16 is square root of 9. So wow, perfect square, class. So negative 5 plus minus 3 all over 2. Okay, so let's continue. So these are the values of our x. Our first x is negative 5 plus 3 over 2. It is equal to negative 2 over 2. So x equals negative 1. Our first real root, x equals negative 1. Our second value is negative 5 minus 3 over 2. That is negative 8 over 2. Therefore, x is equal to negative 4. So, x equals negative 1. and x equals negative 4. Okay, number 3. What is the value of our A, B, and C? So, si B natin is equal to, walang variable na x, therefore 0. Ang coefficient ni x, so 0 plus minus b squared again is 0, 0 squared. So, minus 4, your A is 9, your C is negative 63 over 2 times 9. This is equal to square root of, so we have 2 negative, so magiging positive. So that is 4 times 9 times 63. So square root of 4 natin dito is 2. Square root of 9 is 3. So natira na lang si square root of 63 over 18. So dito tayo, 18 is, cancel na natin si 6, matira na lang dito is 3. So square root of 63 over 3. So 63 is 9 times 7 over 3. So magiging 3 square root of 7 over 3. So 3 divided by 3, natira na lang ay plus minus square root of 7. So this is now the value of your x, plus minus square root of 7. So for number 4, we have negative 7 plus minus square root of 7 squared is 49 minus 4 times 2 times our C is 9. Kasi express natin to into standard form. So magiging plus 9 yan sa kabila. So 2 times 2. So negative 7 plus minus. So magiging 49 minus 8 times 9 is 72 all over 4. Alright, let's continue on the other side. We have negative 7 plus minus square root of 49 minus 22 is negative 23 all over 4. So do we have a value of square root of a negative real number? So this is no real root. So the answer here is no real root or no real solution. Okay, number 5 from the given, these are B, 4. So negative 4 plus minus square root of 4 times 4 is 16 minus 4 times 1 times 4 over 2 times 1, that's 2. So negative 4 plus minus 16 minus 16. Kasi negative 4 times 1 times 4 is negative 16 all over 2. Negative 4 plus minus square root of 0. over 2. So let's just continue. Value ng x po natin ay negative 4 plus minus 0. Kasi square root of 0 is 0 over 2. So x is equal to negative 4 over 2, which is negative 2. So your x is equal to negative 2. So number 5 po natin, class, it has one real root, which is negative 2. Alright, class. Natapos na natin ang ating activity, last activity po natin for the fourth method, lesson 4 ng module nito, solving quadratic equations by using quadratic formula. So thank you for watching, thank you for listening. Sana po ay may natutunan kayo sa isa na namang episode ng ating video lesson, video tutorial ng ating mathematics, this time for grade 9. Subscribe po ay ayos na para sa akin at share sa iba para mas lalo po tayong makakatulong.